All right, so yesterday you should have taken some notes on maps, different types of maps, what maps are used for. And so I want you to take that information, bring it to the front of your brain, and be thinking about it as I talk about the activity that you're going to do. So we are going to talk about an epidemic that occurred in London and how they used maps to actually solve the problem, which should be pretty relevant considering we're going through a pandemic right now. So, a little bit of background information. In 1854, London was experiencing a deadly cholera outbreak. Now, this epidemic had been going on for years at this point, so it wasn't really anything new. But there was this like certain block of London of a few streets, and like 197 people died in like 3 days. And so they knew it was spreading really, really fast in this area, but they didn't really know why. But Dr. John Snow was determined to figure that out. He was a physician in London, and he hypothesized that cholera spread mostly through water. And so he was determined to try and use that hypothesis, prove it right, and contain the disease before it spread even worse. And so what he did was he went through the streets of this neighborhood where, or I say neighborhood, it was a bunch of streets where so many people had died. And he literally tallied how many people had died in each house. And so this is the map that I made that will actually be on Google Classroom for you to use, because I thought it was easier to look at the numbers that way. But this is the map that he drew. So he got this map of London, and then you can tell where he like went to each house or residential area, and he tallied where how many people died right there. And so what I want you to do is think about this information and think about which type of map today would you use to represent this information the best. Okay, because this map is like okay, but this is not the best representation of the data. It can be represented in a way better format. And so answer the question below this video. If you get it right, you'll move on to the next section, and it'll give you the directions for the activity that I want you to do. But if you get it wrong, just keep trying. Go back and look at the types of maps and figure out which type of map would be best for presenting this data.